In this video, we're going to talk about parallel lines and transversals. So you should already have a notes packet where you looked up the information about parallel lines and transversals, but we're going to briefly touch base on them. So we have these two lines right here that are parallel because they go the same direction and never stop, and they are on the same plane. A transversal is simply a line that cuts through two other lines. It does not have to be a pair of parallel lines, but in this case it is parallel lines. Now, we have a handful of angle relationships that we can see when we go through these. One is vertical angles. So those are angles that are across from each other that are made up of two lines, okay, not the three lines, the parallel and transversals, and those are congruent. Okay, so those are vertical angles. We also have exterior angles and interior angles. Now, when we say exterior, we're talking about outside the parallel lines, okay? So if these are parallel lines, exterior angles would be outside the parallel lines, okay? Like 1, 2, 8, and 7. They are outside of those two parallel lines, not in between them, all right? And then our interior angles are going to be inside the parallel lines. So for example, we have 3 and 4, and 5 and 6, okay? So when we talk about alternate interior and alternate exterior, and same side or consecutive interior and same side or consecutive exterior, we are talking about inside the parallel lines or outside the parallel lines and across the transversal or on the same side of the transversal. Let's start with alternate interior angles. Let's say we're working with angle 3. 3 is inside the parallel lines, and the alternate interior angle would be also inside the parallel lines on this side of the transversal, on this side of this other parallel line. So we're between these two things, okay? Now, alternate is going to be on the other side of the transversal. So alternate interior means I'm going to have 5 and 3, okay? Because they are both inside the parallel lines and on opposite sides of that transversal line, the line that cuts through, okay? Next, we'll take a look at alternate exterior. So exterior being outside. So we have 2 is outside the parallel line. And then we're going to look on the outside of the other parallel line. So either 7 or 8. So if it's alternate, it's going to be the outside on the opposite side of the transversal. So I'm going to cut my way down and across here, okay? Next, we have consecutive interior or same side interior. So that would be this 3 and this 6. Correction. Those are not congruent, so I should not mark them as if they are. So, for example, this would be 2 and this would just be 1. Those are supplementary angles. They add up to 180. They have a sum of 180. And they are both inside and both on the same side of the transversal, okay? Let's take a look at how to find a missing angle when I have one of those angle relationships, okay? So for example, I have x degrees and 79 degrees. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at them and I'm going to see if they are, what kind of angle relationship they have. So you notice that I have my parallel lines here, one above the 79 and one below x, making these angles, the 79 and this x, interior angles, okay? Now I'm going to look next at my transversal. My transversal goes through like that. And 79 is on one side of the transversal and x is on the other. That means that these are alternate interior angles. Now, if you remember correctly, / if you made sure to jot down the notes, you should know that 79 degrees and x degrees are congruent because they are alternate interior angles. These are congruent angles. So that means x is equal to 79 degrees. Next, we have 89 degrees and 3x minus 7. So I'm going to look for my angle relationship first. Again, I see that these are inside the parallel lines, and they are on the same side of the transversal. If I look at the transversal here, 89 and 3x minus 7 are on the same side of the transversal. Now these are consecutive or same side interior. Which are supplementary. And supplementary angles have a sum of 180 degrees. So if they have a sum of something, that means I can add them up, this angle up here and this angle down here, and add up those angles, and they will equal 180 degrees. So I have 89 degrees for one of the angles, and 3x minus 7 for the other angle. So this is where some of those situations that we've been talking about recently come into play. I have like terms on one side of the equation. So I can drop these parentheses. I can rewrite it as 89 plus 3x minus 7 equals 180, right? I'm going to use the transversal here as my line, kind of. Now, I have 89 and minus 7 are like terms. I'm going to combine my like terms on the same side. So I have 3x plus, now 89 minus 7 gives me 82. That is equal to 180. Next, I am going to solve my two-step equation. I'm going to subtract 82 from both sides. 180 minus 82 is equal to 98, so that's 3x equals 98. I'm going to move this over here. Now that will not simplify perfectly, but that's okay. I'm going to divide by 3, which gets x alone. And 98 over 3 gives me 32 and 2/3. Okay? Because 3 times 33 gives me 99. So if I'm one short of that, that means I have 2/3 left. So x, right here, is equal to 32 and 2/3 degrees. Go ahead and pause the video and give this a shot, but keep in mind Franklin Street, right here, is parallel to Washington Street. And we are looking for the measure of angle x down here in the bottom right. This is on your notes paper, so make sure you take a look at it to get that done. Once you're finished with the U-try problem and have checked in, make sure you take a look at the rest of the notes packet and see Mrs. Jackson for further details.